Okay, this is Mr. Johnson. This is going to be a little bit weird, but we're going to try this. At this point, you should have your Chromebooks open. You should have this video pulled up on YouTube. You should have a guided note sheet with you, and you should have a piece of paper to do work and to do your warm-up on. So at this point, look at the clock on your computer. Give yourselves 9 minutes to complete these warm-up problems. Feel free to pause this video at any time. Feel free to replay this video at any time. In about a minute, I'm going to scroll down to question 4. Take 9 minutes to complete these problems, and then I'm going to go over them on the video. Obviously, I just scrolled down to questions 3 and 4, so if you need to rewind it and pause it to complete questions 1 and 2, go ahead and do that now. Please pause the video until you are finished with these warm-up problems, and I'm going to go over them. Again, please pause the video until you are finished with these warm-up problems, and I am going to go over them. Okay, question 1 says the cafeteria wants to determine if students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade like the new menu. Which group should they survey to collect the best data? So, if we are trying to figure out what all the kids in the school, if they like the new menu, only one of these answers is going to give us the best data and the most fair data. One question or one answer choice that we can easily eliminate is answer choice B. Because if we want to know if the entire school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students like the menu, it wouldn't be fair to just ask the 7th graders. Also, we can eliminate answer choice D, the students from the football team. Football players might like a different kind of food than the rest of the student body, and we want to get a fair picture of the entire school. That leaves us with 2 answer choices, either A, the first 10 students in line, or C, 25 random students from each grade level. And obviously, answer choice C is the best answer. If we take 25 random students from each grade level, we will have a fair picture from kids from each grade. Question 2 says solve the equation -6 equals -5x plus 4. In this problem, our job is to isolate or get the variable x by itself. To isolate that variable or get it by itself, we need to use the inverse operations. Right now, we have a plus 4 with our variable. To get rid of a plus 4, we need to take 4 away. 4 minus 4 is 0. Lee, even you know that. On this side of our equation, we have -5x. On the other side of our equation, we have -6 minus 4. On your calculator, you need to type in -6 minus 4. Don't try to guess at this. Do not try to do this in your head. Use your calculator. So you should have -10 is the same as -5x, or -5 times x. Again, we need to get the variable by itself. So we are going to use the opposite operation and divide each side by -5. A -5 divided by a -5 cancels out, and we have x. Again, using your calculator, -10 divided by -5 gives you +2. So the answer for number 2 is B. X is the same as +2. Another way you could have solved this is using your calculator. You could have plugged in each answer choice for x and done -5 times the answer choices, add 4, and see if it gives you -6. Number 3 says a circle has a circumference of 400. And a circumference, as you'll learn today, is like the perimeter of a circle. It tells you the distance around the circle. To find the circumference of any circle, you use that formula. Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. And you have a pi button on your calculator. The question says, a circle has a circumference of 400. What is the approximate radius of the circle? So in this problem, we know one piece of information. We know that the circumference is 400. It tells us this in the problem. So all we have to do is plug that in. 400 is the same as 2 times pi times the radius. In this problem, we are trying to solve for the radius, the variable r. In this case, the first thing that we should do is use our calculator to multiply 2 times pi. We get about 6.28. So 6.28r is the same as 400, or equal to 400. Now to solve for that variable, the r in this case, we divide each side by 6.28. On our calculator, we find that 63.69, and it goes on for a long time, is the same as r. The problem said, what is the approximate radius of the circle? Approximate means about. So if the radius is 63.69, that is about 64. Question 4. A mall receives new t-shirts at a cost of $10.50. If the mall decides to mark up the t-shirts by 40%, how much will they charge for the t-shirts? Now, since you're in Mr. Smith's class, you should have unpacked this problem and thought about what this means. When I think about it, and I see mark up, I know that that means the price is going to increase. So we have an original price of $10.50, which is a pretty good deal for a t-shirt, but the store, the mall, marks it up by 40%. So this price is going to increase. The total price is going to be greater than $10.50. To calculate it, $10.50 times 0.40. If you do not already have this done, you should be using your calculator to figure it out right now, not just sitting there, Brandon. And we find that it is a 4.20, $4.20 markup. To find the total price that they'll charge for the t-shirt, we take the original price, which is $10.50. We add $4.20 to that using our calculator, so we're not guessing. And we find it is a total of $14.70 for the t-shirt. Okay, moving on. Today is going to be our first introduction to circles. And the question that we are going to be answering today is, what are the parts of a circle and how can they be used to solve problems? Before we get started here into the actual lesson, please click on the link or type the link in. It's www.brainpop.com/math/geometry and measurement/circles. Or a much easier way is go to brainpop.com and search for circles. Sorry, that was my phone alarm. Search for circles. The username to watch the video is Palm Beach, PALMBEACH. The password is also Palm Beach, PALMBEACH. For all of those out there that aren't that good at spelling, one more time, PALMBEACH. At this point, please pause my video, go to BrainPop, and watch the video. Great. Now back to our regular scheduled program. It's a good idea now, with your graphic organizer in front of you, to watch the video a second time and complete the graphic organizer. Please pause the video and do that now. Okay, So the diagram on the smartboard that you see is obviously a circle. On your graphic organizer, somewhere you should draw this circle, and we're going to label the appropriate parts. On a circle, the first important point you need to know is the word circumference. And the circumference is like the perimeter of a circle. This might be on your guided note sheet and you need to fill it in. The circumference is the perimeter of a circle. It shows the distance around the outside. If we're talking about a pizza, the circumference is like the crust of a pizza. Circles have some other parts we're going to look at. The first is a radius. A radius. Draw the example on your guided note sheet. A circle has a lot of different radii. This is a radius. This is a radius. This is a radius. This is a radius. A radius is simply a line segment that has one endpoint at the edge of a circle and another at the center. So basically what that means is a radius starts in the middle and touches one point on a circle. It starts in the middle and touches one point on a circle. Please pause the tape and copy the definition of radius. The next piece of the circle is the diameter. A diameter passes through the center of the circle and touches 2 points. It goes all the way through a circle. So a diameter goes all the way through. The major difference between a radius and a diameter is a radius starts in the center and just touches 1 point. It's like a spoke on a bicycle wheel. A diameter goes all the way across. In fact, when you order pizzas, like if Papa John says that they have a 14-inch pizza, what they mean by that is they mean the diameter is 14 inches. Anywhere you measure across the pizza, if you touch two sides of the circle and pass through the middle, it's 14 inches. It is a little bit difficult to tell from the picture, but a radius and a diameter have a unique relationship. I can get the smartboard to work. You know I hate these things. Okay, forget it. A diameter is always twice as long as the radius. The diameter is the same as 2 times the radius. So if this radius measures 10, the diameter would measure 20. Also, the radius is always 1/2 the diameter. It makes sense. If the diameter is 20, the radius is 10. Anytime you work with circles, as soon as you see the circle, the first thing that you want to do is off to the side, write down, try that again, what the diameter measures and what the radius measures. The diameter and radius of a circle are basically all of the information you need to answer any kind of circle problem. If you need to pause the video to finish the diagram, you can go ahead and pause it now. Okay, so on the smartboard, it might be kind of hard to read here. There are a list of diameters and radii, or the plural of radius. Number 1, if you can see it, please pause the video now and complete it on your paper. Okay, number 1 says the diameter equals 40 inches. Well, if the diameter is 40 inches, when I think about a circle, and I'm going to use this example for all of my problems, I know the radius is from the center to one piece, and the diameter is the entire distance. If the diameter is 40, the radius is half as much, which means the radius of that is 20. Number 2 says the diameter is 6. Again, I'm going to use my diagram to help me think about this. If the diameter is 6, the radius is half of that. Half of 6, pretty sure, is 3. The third one says the diameter is 11. Again, I'm thinking to myself, okay, the diameter is the long piece. The radius is half of that. 11 divided by 2 on my calculator gives me 5.5, or 5 1/2. When I look to the right side, if I have a radius of 1, again, I go to my diagram. Okay, the radius is from the center to one point. If the radius is 1, the diameter is twice as large. That means the diameter is 2. If I have a radius of 7, I think back to my diagram. Okay, if this is 7, double 7 must be 14. If you need to pause the video to fix these or finish it, do so now. Finally, if the diameter is 16, radius 8, diameter 5, radius, which is half, is 2.5, diameter 10, radius 5. Check your work before we move on. Okay. Make sure that you have this recorded somewhere, that you're not going to lose it on your guided note sheet in your notebook. This is important. The circumference, the distance around the outside of a circle. It's like the perimeter of a circle. To find the circumference of a circle, you can use 2 different formulas. One formula is circumference is the same as pi times the diameter. And remember, the diameter passes through the center and 2 points of the circle. Or you can use the formula circumference equals 2 times radius times pi. And that's a weird looking pi symbol. Because, if we think back, these formulas mean the exact same thing. Because the diameter is twice as long as the radius. So, choose which formula you are going to use for circumference, and this is a formula that you need to memorize. Whichever one of these formulas you want to do, that is the formula you should use for this entire class period and from now on. They have the same value. Circumference equals pi times diameter, or circumference equals 2 times radius times pi. Okay, let's look at an example. The problem says, you can't read it, the following is the large pizza at Domino's on the Plaza. What is the circumference of the pizza? Now, before we get started finding the circumference of this pizza, anytime we have a circle problem, we want to know 2 things to start off. We want to know what is the diameter of the circle, and what is the radius of the circle. In this case, we're given the length of a line segment that passes through the center all the way and touches 2 points. That is the diameter. The diameter is 11. If the diameter of the circle is 11, that means the radius is half of that, which is 5.5. So, before I've done anything with this problem, as soon as I saw the circle, I determined the radius and the diameter. Now we're going to answer the question. I'll read it again. It says, the following is a large pizza at Domino's on the Plaza. What is the circumference of the pizza? Again, circumference is the distance around. And we can use 2 different formulas, whichever one you choose. Either circumference equals pi times diameter, or we can use circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi. Same thing. Either way, 2 times the radius, that's the same as the diameter, and we're multiplying it by pi. I'm going to use the first formula here. So, to find the circumference, we multiply pi times the diameter. In this case, we know the diameter. The diameter is 11. So to determine the circumference, we multiply pi, and on your calculator, you can see the pi button. The pi button looks like a weird, I don't know, almost two straight lines with a little roof on it. So you would just hit pi times 11, and you'll find the circumference to be 34.55. It goes on for a while, but that's good enough. If we use the other formula, if we use circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi, circumference equals 2 times the radius, which we found to be 5.5, and then multiply that by pi. So on my calculator, I put parentheses, 2 times 5.5, close the parentheses, and then I would multiply that number by pi. I would get the same answer. The circumference is 34.55, a long string of decimals. If you need to, pause the video now to copy this example now. Okay, on your own, on your scrap piece of paper or on your smartboard files, go ahead and complete these two problems. Here's a hint. Before you get started, draw the picture. Pause this tape now. Okay, at this point I'm going to go over problem 1. Problem 1 says, what is the circumference of a circle that has a radius of 20 feet? I'm dealing with circles. First thing I'm going to do is draw a circle. Not that difficult. Unpacking the problem, we know it has a radius of 20 feet. Doesn't matter how you draw the radius, as long as you know that a radius starts at the center and goes to one point. I'm going to label that 20. Off to the side, I'm going to make sure that I mark down what the radius and diameter are of this circle, because these are the numbers that I'm going to use in my formula. If the radius is 20, the diameter has to be double that, so the diameter must be 40. Now to get my solution, I write the formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter, and I plug my numbers in. Circumference equals pi times 40. On my calculator, off the stage right, I do pi times 40, and I get 125.66 as my circumference. Pause the video and take notes if you need to. If you mess that one up, pause the video. Check your work on the second one. Number 2, what is the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 4 yards? Again, got a circle. You've probably seen circles since you were 2 years old. Not that difficult. Diameter of 4. Okay, diameter. Yeah, that passes through 2 points. So I have a diameter of 4. If my diameter is 4, my radius is half of it, so my radius has to be 2. Now that I have my information recorded, I can easily find the circumference. I'll use the other formula here. Circumference equals 2 times the radius times pi. So the circumference is 4 times pi, because 2 times 2 is 4. Off to the side, 4 times pi gives me a circumference of 12 56/100. Pretty simple. Okay. At this point, on the back of your guided note sheet is a circumference worksheet. You should be completing that aura, which means right now. Pause the tape, complete the worksheet. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled programming. On your Smartboard sheet. Please complete the exit ticket. There are 3 problems. Question 1 is multiple choice. Question 2 and 3 are not. A quick hint on question 3. Make sure you see what it's asking you for. It says, what is the approximate radius? So use the formula and plug in what you know. Thank you for watching. I will be collecting this stuff.